Welcome to another session of the Becker County Master Gardener's Rambling Rose. My name is Linda and I will be your host today. Today I'd like to talk to you about onions. I grow a lot of onions in my garden. I use a lot of onion. We like onion in all of the things we make. I make a lot of salsa, pickled green peppers, different kinds of mixed vegetables. With your hamburgers, it's good. I grow my onions from set, meaning they're about maybe the size of a quarter. And start from there. I do not start from seed, I start from sets. They can go in very early in the season, in your growing season. I like to put diazinon in my row, or 7, some kind of a dust, because they can get onion rootworms or maggots. So you have to be careful with that. That's about the only problems that I know that onions can have. When they do mature, they end up being about like this. This is what's is growing in my garden right now. This onion is not ripe yet. It can be used. You can see the onion is there. It can be used. But if you want to keep them for longer and for storage, you want them to dry down. And so it doesn't have to be fall or freezing temperatures, anything like that. A lot of times it happens in July or August already, just depending upon your growing season. But what you'll see is the onion will start to, the green will start to just dry up. It'll become like this, and actually in your row you'll start to see all the vines or the tops, whatever you want to call them, laying down. So that means they're starting to dry out. You can see on the onion itself the thin paper that's on there. That's kind of the covering. That is telling you also that it's ripe. What I do is after I pick the onions, and I won't pick them all at one time. I go in and pick as I see them laying down. I'll go in and take them and put them on cardboard. Just don't lay them on cement or anything like that, because that'll pick up moisture. Lay them on cardboard in we have out sheds, so a shed where there's doors open and there's a lot of air movement. Lay them out there to dry for probably a month. Go check them once in a while, because you can have some rot spots. You can feel like where the root is right in there every once in a while. This year especially, it was a very wet year, and I would get more rot spots. So you can use those onions before they completely rot, so kind of keep watching them. So after they have dried and I'm ready for storing them, there's a couple ways to do that. I just take and kind of peel off just a little bit. Don't like peel it really, really, really tight, but just get some of that dirt and stuff off and wipe it down. I'll take and I'll cut the tops off, the dried ends off, probably an inch and 2 inches, somewhere in there, whatever you feel comfortable with. Cut those off, and now they're ready for storage. Different ways to store them. Some people, some people, use just onion bags. These are onion bags. We call them onion bags. Squash comes in and whatever, but air can move through them. So that's why we use these kind of bags. You wouldn't want to put them in plastic. They would hold the moisture. You want something where air, don't stack them real deep. And then what you need to do, I hang them in my basement. So after I put my onions in, every Saturday, it's just part of my Saturday chores, I go down and I feel in the bag, look in the bag, see if anybody's sprouting, anybody's soft. I use those onions first because I don't want to waste any. So that's one way of storing your onions. If you don't have that luxury or you want to try something different, some people do it like this. They'll braid or tie their onions together and hang. You can hang several, and then when they need one, they'll just go in and pick off, cut off, whichever one, cut one off and use it that way too. You still would want to keep them all cleaned off. Get some of the dirt and debris off of them. Just kind of rub them off just gently, but do not peel them and just take a whole lot of down to the skin, because this is what's protecting it right now, and it'll last longer if you leave some of that skin on. You can store your onions. You want to store them in like your basement if you have a cool, dry place for them, or in your garage. If it's heated garage, you're okay. Otherwise, when the temperatures turn cold, your onions could freeze. So you have to be careful. They're very temperamental. But just a cool, dry spot, 50 degrees or 60, someplace in your basement or someplace that you have. And I have some examples of onions from last growing season. As you can see, the tops have dried down quite a bit. They're nice and firm. Good, still working for me. So it works. Let me tell you folks, it works. This onion you can see is starting to sprout. It's one that I have stored over for a whole year. They're usually pretty good. We're going to cut into it and see. I can kind of show you what's happening. I don't know if you can see that, but these little guys right in there, it kind of becomes soft. And if you put it in your food chopper or something, it's really just not going to chop up very well. So when you peel your onion, and you're coring it up, cutting it up, just cut those little spots out and your onion is still really good. So really not too much was wasted. But that's, as you can see, that's how the little sprout started, and then you can see it kind of just going off in there. So anyway, just want to thank you for tuning in again to the Becker County Master Gardener's Rambling Rose. And if you do have any gardening questions, you may call the Becker County Extension Office at 218-846-7328. And our Master Gardeners are there on Mondays and Fridays from 9 until 12. Thank you and have a wonderful day.